Operations! In case you haven't watched the decimal videos, operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. There are 4 of them, and they are opposites of each other. Addition and subtraction are opposites. Multiplication and division are opposites. Okay? You can do the Vulcan sign. Now, so, when we're working with fractions, let's work on some addition first. If we're working with just fractions, our requirements for adding fractions is that they have to have what's called a common denominator. Okay? It's a common denominator. So in other words, our number on the bottom has to be the same. Okay? So, the one I've written here, and occasionally you will see them already given to you, my denominator for both of these are 3. So my denominator is the same. I already have a common denominator. What this means is my answer will have the same denominator. Okay, I went through all the trouble of finding a common denominator. I don't want to change it. Keep it. So my answer is going to be 3. And then I add just the top. 1 plus 1 is 2. My answer for this one is 2 over 3. So I know the next question is going to be, what do we do when they don't give us a common denominator? And the answer to that is, we have to find it. In some cases, with our small numbers, it's fairly easy to find the common denominator. Okay? Our methods for finding a common denominator, there are 2 different types. One's called the least common denominator, and it's typically what's taught in schools. It's pretty common. The other one's called the easiest common denominator. It's not always easier than doing the least common. Okay? I'm going to show them both. Alright, let's start with the least common denominator. Often abbreviated to LCD. Not LSD. LCD. Alright, least common denominator. So, our denominators for this one is 3 and 2. When we're working with least common denominator, we pull these 2 numbers out, and we put them down here. What we're going to do from here is we're going to multiply them until we get one that's the same for my 2 and my 3. So this is times 1, obviously. Anything times 1 is itself, right? So 2 times 2 will be 4. 3 times 2 will be 6. 4 times 3 would be 6. And I can stop there, right? I got a 6. And I got a 6. Right? So this was times 1, times 2, times 3. So I'm going to multiply my 2 by 3, because it took me that many to get there. Times 3. If I multiply the bottom by a number, I have to multiply the top, okay, by the same number. And I'm going to rewrite this so it's a little easier to see here in a minute. My 3 I will multiply by 2, because that's what I multiplied down here, okay? And again, if I multiply the bottom, I have to multiply the top. Think of it, that fraction line is kind of like a mirror. If it has in the bottom, it has to have in the top, right? Alright. I'm going to rewrite, I'm going to bring this down. Okay, we're done with my least common denominator. I'm going to erase this portion so I have some space. I'm going to bring this down so it's a little bigger, a little easier for you guys to see on the screen, okay? So I've got 1 over 3. And I'll multiply both of those by 2. I'm going to add that to 1 over 2. And I'm going to multiply both of those by 3. Okay? After I multiply, let's multiply our amount. So 3 times 2 is 6. It's my bottom, right? Enough space here. It's my bottom. I've got 6 down here. Okay. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to add that to 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. Okay. Now I have a common denominator. They're both 6. So my answer, again, I'm going to keep it. Saw the trouble we just went through. Don't change it. My bottom's going to be 6, my denominator. Then I add my top. 2 plus 3 is answer is 5 over 6. This method is what's called the least common denominator. It will always give you the smallest possible denominator. When using this method, I do not have to simplify. Okay? That means this is going to be the smallest possible fraction I can get. I don't have to try and make it any smaller. Okay? When we use our other method, the method that has been dubbed easiest common denominator, we frequently end up having to, at the very least, check and see if we can simplify. I'll cover simplifying in the next video, so we're not going to worry about simplifying it right now. But let's look and see what the easiest is. Okay. Let's go to 2 over 7 plus. Let's do 3 over 4. Okay. And again, I'm using small numbers in order to keep things simple for the example. Okay. Easiest common denominator, ECD, tells us instead of multiplying out our denominators, we just take our two denominators and we multiply them by each other. So my denominators in this case are 7 and 4. So I'm going to multiply that 7 by 4. And that 4 by 7. Okay? And again, remember, I have to do the top if I do the bottom, and vice versa. Okay? So I'm going to write this out nice and big down here. So we got 2 over 7 that we're going to multiply by 4. Okay? And I'm adding to that a 3 over 4 that I am now going to multiply by 7. Now if you're looking at me now and going, where did I get the 4 and 7? Remember, those are my original denominators, and I've taken them and I've simply multiplied them by each other. Okay? Let's do our math. It's going to be 8 over 7, 14, 21, 28. Okay? Plus 21, right? 7 times 3. 21 over 28. Okay? Now again, I have a common denominator now. I'm going to keep it. 28. That's what my answer is going to be on the bottom. My numerator on top, I'm going to add my top numbers. 8 plus 21 is 29. Now notice, very quickly, I have an improper fraction for an answer. Okay? Got 29 over 28. So I can make that into a mixed number very easily. 28 goes into 29 rather, one time, right? 29 minus 28 will give me 1 left over. So 29 over 28 comes out to be, where do I have some space? I have 1 and 1 over 28 as my final answer. Okay. This is the simplified version, because I can't get any smaller than 1. Occasionally you end up with really big numbers that don't give you an improper fraction that you then have to simplify down. And that's what I'll cover in the next video, okay? So again, this is easiest common denominator. The one I showed you before this was least common denominator. Feel free to go back and look at them again if you need to, okay? If you have questions, ask in the comments.